Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video I'll be showcasing my entire collection of early milled silver coins. My favourite thing of coins to collect, the lovely early milled silver from the 16 and 1700s. Let's get into all these wonderful coins as I showcase my full collection of early milled silver coins. Let's go. So then, what is my newest early milled coin? It is this one, the one we begin with. Let's zoom in. So lots of these I'll also be getting pictures for you because these coins are worth it, to be honest, to be photographed up nice and close. This is the first one. Here we go. This is a 1762 threepence. That is George III. Now, it was under George III that the coins modernised, the Great Recoinage of 1816, and prior to that is what would be called early milled, and then prior to 1660, we have hammered, which is another class of coins. So this is the first one I'm showing you today. The obverse is in lovely condition. Beautiful coin. And the reverse is just as nice. A wonderful design, nice long legend, a very detailed crown, and a nice embellished sort of stylized 3 there with the date to the top. Only the 3rd year of George III's reign, so not long after he ascended to the throne. So there's the first one. The next one is very good, beyond words. Although it is darkly toned, the actual what do you call it? Just the coin itself is absolutely lovely. I mean, what a beauty that coin is. Very, very nice coins to own. This is once again George III. This is from, oh, hello. I've got the order wrong. This is 1787, so this should have been first. Apologies for that. Right, so anyway, we start again. Look at that. Beautiful coin. We've got the 4 shields, the crowns, a lovely large garter star to the centre, the date to the bottom there, legend around. Back when the coins were pieces of artwork, they were not just tokens of trade, they were artwork, beauties. And I mean, imagine actually using these in just the day-to-day and just seeing them all the time, that you would just be like, oh, there you go, loaf of bread, whatever it happened to be. Anyway, beautiful portrait there, the military portrait of King George III. Absolutely, absolutely stunning. Right, next up, I think we're back in order now, of going back in time, because now we come on to 1758. This is a shilling of King George II. This one is not great condition. It has, as you can see, been scratched. The portrait, and dropped. The portrait is very scratched, and it is fairly worn, but, still, the detail is pretty much all there. 1758 speaks for itself as a nice piece of history. And yeah, one of my only George II, maybe my own, no, there's a few George II silver coins, but yeah, not very, George I and II silver isn't too prevalent, it must be said. Here is a 1745 coin. This one's very special for a very different reason. Similar design, lovely design, not great condition. There is George II, but what is my thumb hiding here? The word Lima. Now you may know what this means. Very briefly, the Spanish went to Peru. The capital of Peru is, of course, Lima, and the Spanish stole lots of silver. On the way back to Spain, the Spanish were intercepted by the British fleets, who defeated the Spanish, stole the originally Peruvian silver that was then Spanish, then was British, and was sent to the Royal Mint, where they struck it into coinage, marked Lima, as propaganda for the British victory of that battle with the Spanish. So, very cool history behind, especially just to know that the journey, the silver in this coin has come from Peru, on board Spanish galleons, and so on and so forth. This coin embodies wondrous history. One of the beauties of coin collecting. I've got to speed up. I'm too much rambling about all these coins. This one shouldn't be taking too much of our time today, as it is very damaged. It's a 6pence of George II. As you can, but that's about all we're going to get from it, really. I remember getting it. I got this for £1, I must confess. So you can't go too far wrong, but it isn't great. However, this one is great. Look at this. Oh, they just look so lovely on camera, and even better in person. 1739 shilling. We've got the 4 crowned shields. We've got the roses of England between them, and the Garter star to the centre. On the other side, on the obverse, a bit more worn to this side, we have George II. Very, very nice portrait. And this side really is the gem of this coin. Absolutely phenomenal. Wondrous. Onward, a very small coin next. This, I'll leave it in the capsule because you can see it easily enough, is a 1737 1 penny, a silver penny. Now these were used for the Maundy ceremony, but also the circulation pennies were these. So they're sort of, you couldn't really tell them apart from the Maundy issues. But this is a tiny coin to use in transactions. And of course, you know, having 6 of these would have been a 6p and 12 would have been a shilling. This was the penny in circulation, not just the Maundy variety. So cool history there. Very simple design, but also very lovely. And yeah, just the crowned one. And then the portrait of George to the obverse. Is this our last? I think this is our last George II coin. And what a one to finish on. So very similar to that shilling I showed you of 1739. This is 1728 and is a 6p. Roses and plumes, shields, garter star, and whoops, wrong way around. There is George II. Once again, you can see the hidden lion on his shoulder, or the sort of hidden face. I don't know, I'm shaking too much. These are just two wondrous things. There we go. Anyway, we've seen that one now. Let's continue onwards. Very lovely though. This is now George I, 1723, SSC for the South Sea Company, who, was sponsored sort of, or the king kind of worked with them. And there is the king, George I. Just says George of us, as they, didn't know there'd be any more Georges at the time, really. They didn't need to, there was no confusion of which George it could be, as there was only one. The portrait is more of a silhouette, unfortunately, very worn, but this is my only George I silver coin, and I'm very happy to have it in the collection. Very, very nice. Right, backwards now on to Queen Anne. This is where we get very cool. Queen Anne's a very collectible monarch. We've got 1713 3p with a crown there. And it is quite cool to have 3p of different eras. We had the George one earlier and so on, and just to see the sort of similar reverse design hasn't changed much in this early milled era with the crown and the legend and the denomination, but the portrait is of course different for each monarch. Anne de Gratia, Anne by the grace of God, and her left-facing portrait. Very, very nice. There we go. But there is a better Queen Anne coin in my collection, which is the next one along from 17... Ooh, stuck it. It's very big. It only just fits in my tray because it is a half crown. Look at that. 1708 half crown. A bit less detail. There's nothing in between the shields. And the design, although they are lovely designs, I have mentioned this before, they've got a very nice design, but they are all the same kind of thing. Whether it's the 6p, the shilling, the half crown, even the crowns, they use the same design, but just upscaled. So perhaps more variety would have been nice, but you can't complain because they're all very lovely. Here's that same portrait of Anne facing left, Anne de Gratia. We have an E there. This was minted in Edinburgh, one of the last ever coins to be made in Edinburgh, as of course Queen Anne did the Act of Union, and therefore there was, the Royal Mint made coins for England and Scotland. Scotland didn't need their own mint anymore, as we were unified. Next up, we come into the reign of William III, 1690. You can just about see 97. I do have better than this, believe me. William III, yeah, it's not great. It is a shilling, I believe, from the size. No, maybe I think it's a 6p actually. Apologies, but yeah, just a bit of a damaged one, but still nice to have. Also a damaged one here, 1697. Is that the same? Yeah, the same thing. Another 6p. One very worn. This one with a massive cannon that's been shot through that one. A massive hole. But we can see also N there. This is the Norwich Mint. So that was during his reign. There was a branch. I believe it's Norwich. Please correct me. Or is it Nottingham? No, Norwich, I believe. Anyway, a branch mint. So pretty cool. These branch mint ones are rarer. And just a nice variety to have. Dropping more coins. Goodness me. Right. Continuing. We have this big boy. Another half crown. William III. There is his portrait. As we can see, a beautiful portrait. And looking to the other side, we have this is 1696. I don't know if it shows, but when you get magnified and up close, you can just about see it. It's not a great coin, or it is a great coin, it's not in great condition. So that same design with the crossed sort of style of crown shields. We've got a line of orange to the center, as he is from the House of Orange rather than the Garter. But yeah, pretty worn, but still lovely. Another William III here, 1695. This is a shilling. And the obverse isn't, the reverse isn't great, but the obverse here is pretty nice. Probably my best obverse of William. And you can see the portrait there pretty nicely. And I do love when the fields of the coin darken. That brings up to the surface the actual top designs, the engraving is brought out from the background. Lovely, lovely stuff indeed. Right, there's that one. Now, I'm going to reach in because as of filming today's video, the reason of filming is because of this purchase. This will go into the tray now. I've just bought this, and here we go. Ooh, probably the best one on the tray. Well, not yet on the tray, but will be to join the collection as the star. 1689 half crown. Now, I've just done this video, just done the video where I unboxed this, but I'm happy to sit here and ramble about it all over again for today's video because it is worth it. Look at that. Look at that beautiful coin. Got the crown above the nice uniform shield there with all the quarterings and details of the royal themes that it shows. 1689, the date. We've got the legend here, which says King and Queen, Rex and Regina. Pretty cool there, because look at that. Rex and Regina, King and Queen, William and Mary. A double portrait half crown, and it just does speak for itself, to be honest. As you can see, there's so much beauty within this coin, and it's a true pleasure to own. And yeah, I want to move along all the other coins after this video and add it into its spot in the hammered coin, in the early milled coin tray with pride. There we go. Right, where were we? Continuing on with what I already had beforehand. We have this one. Not amazing, but it is as a special feature, if you will. 1687 2p, crowned. But look over here, we have James II. James II, one of the rarest monarchs you can get without going crazily rare. Some of the old hammered ones, 1,000 years ago, whatever. But yeah, James II only reigned for a few years, and thus his coins are very scarce to get. I have here a James II 2p. It is hold. The portrait isn't. Well, you can just about see it. It's not great, but it's more of just I have a James II coin rather than look at this wonderful coin that happens to be from James II. That makes sense. But there we go. Final three now. Oh, I'm missing. There was one more. I've got two. Have I? There's some hammered crowns that don't fit on this tray, so stay tuned. But they're not hammered. Early milled crowns, so stay tuned. Right, I've been rambling on for far too long. Let's continue on. 4p of 1683. Charles II, as I was saying, one of my favourite monarchs to get coins from. We have the 4 interlinked C's with the national flowers around, a crown, the date, and look over here, a wonderful portrait of King Charles II. Very, very nice indeed. And yeah, like I say, a lovely coin. Right, moving on. We've got this one. This is a 2p, and lovely, lovely condition, lovely colouring to the coin. 1679, that is. Got the 2 interlocked C's there because it's 2p. Charles II de Gratia, that same portrait. Very, very nice coin. Very small, but I do plan to get a penny. I've got the 2 and then the 3p, and I've got the 4p. The final coin on this tray is a 1668 shilling. A coin that I do quite like because although it's a bit, it just tells this coin has got a great history behind it. When did it get bent? Why is it so worn? What transactions has it done back in the 1600s? And then there's a lovely portrait there of Charles II. Again, although not in great condition, a dark background and that brings out the design of the coin. Very, very nice. So that's back to there. I almost forgot. I've got a few early milled crowns, so I'll be back in 1 second with 1 or 2 early milled crowns that I have on my other tray. Let's get those. Okay, right, let's zoom out a bit. Here's the first one, straight into things. I'm back. Here we have a 16... so that half crown we saw earlier was this... Hang on. This one, as the half crown, I don't know the date for, but it's this one, the crown, where you can you see 1696? I can in the right light. So it's 1696. I'll have to take my word on it. It's very worn, it's smooth. It feels like a billiards ball or whatever. It's that smooth. But it is from Guilhelmus III. It's another William III coin. I have a William III crown, half crown, shilling and 6p. I've got quite a nice set going of William III. And there it is. Nice edge lettering, beautiful coin. And despite the wear, I'm still too zoomed in, apologies. Despite the wear, just the tactile feel, shouldn't really be doing this, but oh yeah, just the feel of Hammered, early milled coins. Oh, I'm going crazy. I'm too excited. These are my favorite. These are my favorites. These are early milled, hammered. No, early milled. Yes, my favorite of these. Cracky, I've gone crazy because of this. The anticipation of seeing this once again zoomed in on the screen of the camera here is wonderful. 1662, so very near to the start of the reign of Charles II, who came to the throne in 1660. And this is a beautiful coin. The condition is always a big factor and really helps with such things. 1662, got the crowns, the shield, the Garter star, the 2 interlocked C's between each thing for Charles, who is right here. And look at that, we've got a Rose of England, the classical portrait, his famous big nose and moustache, Carolus II by the grace of God, or Charles II by the grace of God. Absolutely wonderful. An edge inscription as well. Quite hard to film, but you can see it there. And yeah, and just a true pleasure of a coin to hold, own, and enjoy. Let me get a quick handful of some of the beauties I've got. This is going to be worth it. Imagine going to the shop back in the day and getting that in your change. Ooh, that beats some old 20p's any day of the week. If only coins such as this were still given out in change, I'd be buying things unnecessarily to receive my change. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I've thrown too many early milled coins around today, so I'm going to put them all away and buy some more because they are wonderful. Comment down below your favourite coin of today's video, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for some more coins on Bits and Bobs. Bye for now.